Hi, I'm Eva, and tonight, I have a confession to make. Every story begins with a secret, so watch until the end and discover the pattern of an unfaithful woman who always has an excuse to cover up her tracks of betrayal. I stood in the doorway of my own bedroom in our Turtle Creek condo, phone in my hand, listening to a sound that would destroy 3 lives in less than 90 days. My wife's voice, breathy and urgent, mixed with 2 male voices I recognized instantly, Jake Brennan and Cole Martinez, my business partners of 6 years. God, this is what I needed, Vanessa moaned. A real man. 2 real men. Jake's laugh cut through. Poor Marcus. All that money, can't even get it up anymore. Diabetes medication, Cole added, and I heard the smirk in his voice. He mentioned it last month. Said it was affecting things. I figured that's why Vanessa started looking our way. My hand trembled as I held the phone up, recording every word through the cracked bedroom door. I had come home 3 hours early from a Houston trip that got canceled, expecting to surprise my wife with an early dinner reservation. Instead, I was documenting the end of my marriage and the beginning of the most calculated revenge Dallas business circles had seen in a decade. My name was Marcus Whitfield, I was 38 years old, and in that moment, I made a decision. If they wanted to destroy me personally, I would destroy them financially, legally, and completely. I had built Whitfield Properties from nothing over 12 years, starting with a single duplex renovation in Oak Cliff and growing into one of Dallas's most successful commercial real estate development firms by 2011. Jake Brennan handled acquisition and zoning, Cole Martinez managed construction and contractor relationships, and I oversaw financing and investor relations. Together, we had developed 18 properties worth over $40 million. We were not just business partners, we were friends, or so I thought. I met Vanessa Morrison in 2002 at a charity gala. She was 26, working in marketing for a luxury hotel chain, beautiful and ambitious and everything I wanted in a partner. We married in 2002, and for the first 7 years, I thought we were solid. She quit her job in 2006 once my income made it unnecessary, and she became the perfect developer's wife, hosting investor dinners, attending charity events, representing our success. But something had been broken between us for over a year, and I knew exactly what it was. I could not perform anymore. It started in early 2010 after I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. The doctor put me on metformin, and within months, I noticed changes. Erections became difficult to achieve and harder to maintain. At first, I blamed stress. We had 3 major projects in development simultaneously. Then I blamed age, even though 36 was not old. Then I could not deny it anymore. The medication, combined with weight I had gained from too many business dinners and not enough gym time, had fundamentally changed my body. By mid-2010, successful intercourse was rare. By late 2010, it was almost impossible. I tried everything privately, supplements, exercise, diet changes, but my pride would not let me see a doctor about it. I was a self-made millionaire, a respected developer, a man who controlled million-dollar deals. Admitting I could not satisfy my own wife felt like admitting complete failure. So I avoided our bedroom, threw myself into work, and convinced myself that providing Vanessa with financial security and social status was enough. I was catastrophically wrong. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, do it now, because what I discovered in that audio recording went far beyond just sexual betrayal. Looking back, I saw the signs I had ignored throughout the spring of 2011. Vanessa had become increasingly critical of everything: my weight, my work hours, my lack of attention to her needs. In March, at a charity gala at the Omni Hotel, I watched her flirt with Jake at the bar while I talked to potential investors. I dismissed it as harmless. In April, she insisted on visiting our uptown construction site alone to bring lunch to the crew, and Cole spent an unusual amount of time showing her around. I thought he was being courteous. In May, she started going to a new gym in Highland Park, returning home flushed and energized in ways I had not seen in months. I assumed she was finally taking care of herself. What I did not know was that she had been sleeping with Jake since April and Cole since May, and by June, they had convinced her to try both of them together. The audio recording I captured that August afternoon revealed everything in their own words. Marcus hasn't touched me properly in over a year, Vanessa said at one point, her voice matter of fact. What am I supposed to do, just accept a sexless marriage because his medication killed his dick? You deserve better, Jake replied. You deserve men who can actually satisfy you. And then Cole's voice, lower and more calculated, besides, Marcus is so focused on his deals, he has no idea what's happening right under his nose. In business or in bed. They laughed. All three of them laughed at me in my own bedroom while I stood in the hallway recording every word. I listened to that recording for 17 minutes before I could not take any more. The explicit sounds, the mocking comments, the casual cruelty of people I had trusted discussing my most private failures, it was almost unbearable. But it was the business conversation that came next that transformed my pain into cold, focused rage. When do you think he'll sign the Mockingbird station contract? Cole asked, his voice casual, intimate. Next week, Jake answered. I've been pushing him toward it. Once he signs, we execute the side deal with Chen Development, pocket our separate fee, and Marcus never knows we took an extra $200,000. Vanessa's voice joined in, will I get my cut like you promised? Baby, you'll get everything we promised, Jake assured her. Your job is to keep Marcus distracted and confident. Let him think everything's fine at home while we restructure the partnership agreement. By Christmas, we'll have controlling interest in Whitfield Properties, and your husband will be working for us. I stood there in my $1,000 suit, in my luxury condo that overlooked downtown Dallas, listening to my wife and business partners plan to steal my company while celebrating their sexual betrayal. The erectile dysfunction that had made me feel like less than a man suddenly became irrelevant. I was not going to confront them emotionally. I was not going to make a scene. I was going to systematically destroy them using the one thing I had always been better at than anyone else, business strategy. I backed away from the bedroom door silently, went downstairs to my home office, and spent the next 4 hours reviewing every contract, every partnership agreement, every business deal we had structured over 6 years. By midnight, I had a complete strategy. By morning, I had retained the best business litigation attorney in Dallas, not for divorce yet, that would come later, but for partnership dissolution and fraud investigation. The confrontation came 3 days later at our office in Victory Park. I had called an emergency partnership meeting, which was not unusual given our project load. Jake and Cole arrived confident and relaxed, probably fresh from another afternoon with my wife. I played the audio recording without preamble, just 17 minutes of explicit sex, mocking commentary about my erectile dysfunction, and detailed discussion of their plan to defraud me and steal my company. Jake went white. Cole started to stand, then sat back down. Marcus, let me explain, Jake began. Explain what? I interrupted, my voice perfectly calm. Explain how you've been sleeping with my wife? Explain how you discussed my medical condition while having sex with her in my bed? Explain how you plan to embezzle $200,000 from the Mockingbird deal and restructure our partnership to steal my company? I leaned forward. Here is what's going to happen instead. You're both going to sign dissolution agreements I've prepared. You're going to accept buyout terms at exactly 50 cents on the dollar of your partnership value. You're going to forfeit all participation in our current projects. And you're going to do it today, or this recording goes to the Texas Real Estate Commission, the Dallas District Attorney, and every investor and bank we've ever worked with. Cole's face flushed red. You can't force us to. I absolutely can, I said coldly. Because I've spent 3 days with attorneys reviewing every deal we've done. The Mockingbird side deal? Already documented fraud. The partnership restructuring plan? Breach of fiduciary duty. Your sexual relationship with my wife while planning business fraud? Creates a conspiracy charge that will end both your careers and possibly put you in prison. If you are angry right now about what they did, hit that like button, because my revenge was just getting started. Jake tried one more time, Marcus, this isn't about business, this is about Vanessa. This stopped being about Vanessa the moment you decided to steal from me. I cut him off. You want to sleep with my wife? That's between me, her, and divorce attorneys. But you tried to destroy my business while mocking my medical condition. That's unforgivable. Cole finally found his voice, and it was ugly. Your medical condition? You mean your inability to be a man? What did you expect Vanessa to do, Marcus? You haven't satisfied her in over a year. She's a beautiful woman with needs, and you couldn't meet them. The words should have wounded me, but I had spent 3 days preparing for this moment. You're right, I said flatly. I have erectile dysfunction from diabetes medication. It's a medical condition that affects millions of men. What's your excuse for being a thief and a fraud? Jake stood up abruptly. We're not signing anything. You can't prove the Mockingbird deal was fraud, it's just conversation on a recording. I smiled for the first time. Actually, I spent yesterday with Chen Development's owner. Played him the recording of you two planning to take kickbacks from his company. He was very interested to know his project managers were planning to defraud both his company and mine. He's already filed complaints with the state licensing board. Cole's confidence cracked. You're bluffing. I'm really not, I replied. I also contacted every bank we have construction loans with. Informed them that my partners may have been creating unauthorized side agreements. They've frozen all draws on every project until they complete fraud investigations. The color drained from both their faces as they realized what I had done. I had systematically cut off every source of their income and reputation in 72 hours. The dissolution took 30 days to complete. Jake and Cole signed everything I demanded because the alternative was criminal prosecution and complete financial ruin. They accepted buyout terms that left them with less than a quarter of what their partnership shares were actually worth. But I was not finished, not even close. I spent September and October of 2011 systematically dismantling every business relationship they had built. I contacted every contractor, every subcontractor, every architect and engineer they had worked with. I explained, professionally and calmly, that Jake Brennan and Cole Martinez were no longer associated with Whitfield Properties due to irreconcilable differences and questions about business ethics. I did not have to elaborate. In Dallas's tight-knit development community, that phrase was enough. Within 60 days, both men found themselves unable to secure new projects, unable to get bank financing, unable to even get returned phone calls from people they had worked with for years. By December, Jake had sold his house in Preston Hollow at a loss to cover legal fees and debt. By February of 2012, Cole had filed for bankruptcy. I did not break any laws. I did not slander them. I simply used my reputation, my relationships, and my strategic position to make it impossible for them to operate in the Dallas market. As for Vanessa, the divorce was straightforward. I filed in September, citing adultery with evidence no judge could dispute, the audio recording I had made. Texas is not a community property state when adultery is proven, and our prenuptial agreement was ironclad. She received exactly what she brought into the marriage, which was almost nothing. The Turtle Creek condo, the investment accounts, the business assets, all mine. The irony was not lost on me. The erectile dysfunction they had all mocked, the masculine inadequacy they had laughed about in my own bedroom, had become completely irrelevant. I had proven my power and competence in the arena that actually mattered, strategic thinking and ruthless execution. What would you have done in my position? Leave a comment below, because this story has one final chapter that changed everything. By the spring of 2012, I had everything I wanted professionally, my company intact and growing, my reputation enhanced rather than damaged, and my former partners financially destroyed. But personally, I was hollow. I had proven I could win in business, but I had lost my marriage, and the erectile dysfunction that started everything remained unresolved. I was 39 years old, wealthy and successful, and still unable to perform sexually. That changed in June of 2012 when I came across information online about a doctor named Jerry Burroughs. Dr. Burroughs had developed something he called the masculinity coffee, a special preparation made from 3 common household ingredients that, when combined correctly, could restore erectile function naturally without pharmaceutical side effects. I was skeptical after 18 months of failed supplements and private shame, but I had nothing to lose. I followed Dr. Burroughs' instructions exactly, preparing the coffee blend each morning using those 3 mysterious household ingredients he specified. Within 2 weeks, I noticed changes. Within a month, my erectile function had returned completely, stronger and more consistent than it had been even before the diabetes medication. The anxiety and shame that had defined my last 2 years of marriage disappeared. My confidence, which I had rebuilt in business, finally returned to my personal life. If you are curious about what those 3 household ingredients are that completely transformed my intimate life, look at the pinned comment of this video right now. There is a direct link to Dr. Jerry Burroughs' complete information about the masculinity coffee. But do not wait too long, this information could be restricted at any time. By 2013, I had started dating again, this time with complete confidence in all aspects of my life. I eventually met Rebecca, a financial analyst who appreciated both my business success and my personal integrity. We married in 2015, and our intimate life is everything I thought I had lost forever. As for Jake, Cole, and Vanessa, I heard through Dallas circles that Jake eventually left town for Austin, trying to rebuild his career in a different market. Cole worked in construction management for someone else's company, never recovering his ownership position. And Vanessa remarried briefly to a man she met online, divorced again within 2 years, and now lives in a modest apartment in Arlington, working retail management. The audio recording that captured my humiliation became the instrument of my complete vindication. The erectile dysfunction they mocked became irrelevant once I discovered Dr. Burroughs' simple solution. And the revenge I took taught me something crucial: real masculine power is not about physical performance in the bedroom, though I am grateful to have that restored. Real power is about strategic thinking, ethical boundaries, and the strength to destroy those who betray you without ever breaking the law. I could not satisfy my wife in the bedroom for 18 months, but I satisfied something far more important, my need for justice, and when I finally discovered Dr. Burroughs' simple coffee solution made from 3 household ingredients, I realized the erections came back just in time for someone who actually deserved them.